Hello everyone and welcome to Street Date Tuesday, the 1st of 2022. We've got a lot of fun books here for you, and we're going to start right off with some new memoirs. A great way to start off your reading list. If you've got Lindsay Vohn's new book, Rise, an inspiring look at women and athletics, and in particular, the toll that it can take on your mental health. She gets really honest about her struggles, but also gives you the hope that when addressing them, they don't need to define you. So an honest look at mental health and their effect on an athlete. Catherine Schultz, the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, has her new memoir out, Lost and Found. I love her look at the way two different family lines intertwine in a new marriage to create a new family. It's such a human story, and a great look at where we come from defines and shapes where we go in the future. Okay, and then Reverend Al Sharpton has pulled together a collection of stories. His tagline is the untold stories of the social justice movement in America, from the beginning of the civil rights movements back in the 60s all the way through the events of the summer of 2020 surrounding the murder of George Floyd and all the influential people that maybe we don't know as much about. This is a great look into their stories. And continuing on the topic of the civil rights movement, a collection of lectures by Julian Bond. The New York Times calls these an indispensable master class, this collection of his lectures put into a book. All right, and a couple more nonfiction. The Eye Test, a case for human creativity in the age of analytics. Chris Jones is taking a look at whether or not computers and analytics can completely replace the human brain. The answer is no. He firmly believes there is something about the creative human mind that we just can't do without when it comes to problem solving and making our world a better place. And then Lost in the Valley of Death by Harley Rustad, outdoor adventure book, the story of a man who challenged the Himalayas and won or lost. You decide. Take a look. And moving on to fiction, what's new in paperback? We've got a rep from the fantasy department, The Amber Crown. This looks like a fun new one. Lady Hubbard's The Rib King is now out in paperback. A look at the American fascination with Black culture and what that means for us. And for fans of Bridgerton and Downton Abbey, a fun read by Carol Wallace, Our Kind of People. And a personal favorite of mine by Andrew Graff, Raft of Stars, is now in paperback. If you've been in the store and heard me recommend this, I'll just say it again. It's now in paperback, a little lower price point. Come check it out. It's a debut novel by an ex-Marine about a runaway and the tension between young people who want to do their own thing and the adults who want to protect and help shape them as they grow. A More Perfect Union by Tammy Huff. A look at the immigrant experience in America and the experience of people trying to escape slavery and those stories intertwining in a really fascinating and interesting way. The Sanatorium. If you guys are all familiar with the Western State Hospital in Stanton that was in the last decade or so turned into an inn, a luxury inn. This story, a little bit on the creepy side, will sound almost like true to life. And The Children's Blizzard, a novelized account of a real event that happened in 1888. I gotta say that this one is a little close to home given the weird weather we've had this January. Warm one day, freezing cold and snowing the next. Exactly what happened in this hair-raising story. All good paperback reads for this week. Okay, and next book in our hardcover fiction is also the #1 pick for the Indies bestseller list. It's on the cover of their flyer. If you have seen these flyers in the store and gotten some use out of them, wanted to let you know that they're also available by subscribing to our email list. We can send them right to you, to your inbox. Once a month they come out, and they have independent booksellers all around the country, their top picks for good reads that month, and we highly recommend. We try to always keep what's been recommended on hand here in the store. If there's a title you're looking for and we don't have it on the shelf, we can get it for you right away. So a great resource as you plan your reading list for 2022. This novel is a really amazing look at America's promise and whether or not we can live up to it. It is a kind of genre-bending book. We've got a little bit of alternative history, not quite fantasy or sci-fi, just alternative history, but then also some just great American novel aspects of it too. It looks like it will be a great read. Now, new hardcover fiction. Let's begin. This is the tallest stack this week. The Paris Bookseller, a real-life ode to Sylvia Beach, a woman whose bookshop, Shakespeare and Company, apparently single-handedly saved James Joyce's famous title Ulysses from obscurity. Looks like a good read. And A Small World by Jonathan Evison, a classic American novel set in California during the Great Expansion West. Looks a little bit at the railroad building that was going on at the time. Okay, I read the blurb and a few excerpts from this book, and absolutely I'm putting this at the top of my to-be read list in 2022. Wahala, a word that means trouble. Now, several of the people who are reviewing this book are comparing it to Sex and the City, and I have to agree, it definitely sounds like that, with this twist, that we begin with three close-knit friends who are living and loving life together, and a fourth wheel enters the frame and all hell breaks loose. It sounds like a fast-paced, great girlfriend read. Okay, and James Patterson is teaming up with sports great Mike Lupica for The Horsewoman. Now, we talked earlier about women in sports. This is a novel, but on the same topic, and another great read for the athletes in your life. Okay, we've got a few suspense to look at. We've got two suspense novels here to look at. A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. Stacy Willingham. Karen Slaughter recommends this book, so that tells you a lot for it. This is a look at a woman's attempt to come to terms with her past as it catches up with her in her middle age. She discovers that some of the things she thought maybe she dealt with are still lurking in the depths of her psyche. A good one, exciting. And Brad Taylor's got a new title, The End of Days, a new Pike Logan novel. If you are a fan of Brad Taylor, come take a look at his newest. And some murder mystery detective fiction. Jessica Fellows has got a new book out in the Midford Murders mystery series, The Midford Vanishing. Ready and waiting here for you. And last but not least, the book that I've been waiting for a while now, Elizabeth George's latest Detective Inspector Lindley book, Something to Hide. He is back at it again. If you are a Louise Penny fan and you have been loving Inspector Gamache and you haven't tried Elizabeth George yet, I recommend that you give this a try. They both write similarly in that they take the sort of basic detective murder mystery storyline, but delve much deeper into the darker side of human nature. And there's always a lot of the personal life of the Detective Inspector Lindley, woven in to the plot of the individual mystery in the story. Absolutely love this woman's books. Okay, and you guys know how I love a cover art. This week's winner of Best Cover is Daughters of the Moon Goddess. This book is in the genre of the Chinese legend. It's a fantasy novel. It is beautiful. Look at this cover art, and the story sounds so gorgeous and dreamy and mystical and everything you want in a really great fantasy novel, including a really strong female protagonist. That genre has come a long way in portraying female characters, so I'm really happy about that, and this one looks like it's going to be a fantastic read. Highly recommend. All right, thanks so much for listening in again this week. We'll see you next time.